Hey everyone, it's here, the Bart's Comics second anniversary question and answer video, and I'm sitting right next to an empty chair because Mark doesn't want to be in the video. But no worries, you asked me a lot of questions and I'm planning to answer them all. The first question came from Iris Loyens and she asked me about the best date we've ever had. And I will never forget, it was Valentine's, our first Valentine's weekend, and we spent it in Antwerp. And I became sick the very first night, and we spent the whole evening together in bed watching movies on TV. And it was actually very romantic. The next day I felt better, and we still had our Valentine's dinner in the center of Antwerp. It was beautiful. Patrick Rotterdam asked me, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? I think right here. I never looked that much ahead, but I think right here, drawing comics. I hope as a professional. Well, maybe I should have a studio on the attic by then. But well, I'm with the same company now for more than 16 years, and I'm afraid I will be there in 10 years' time. But you'll never know. Like I said, I never looked that much ahead. We'll see. Sarah Kyler, you guys have been together for a long time now. What does it feel like looking back at your first date? How awkward was it compared to how it is now? Actually, between our first date and our relationship right now, there's not that much difference. We fell in love at first sight. We had such a great time. We sang it. We made music. It wasn't awkward, not for 1 second. So I look back on the first date with a very good feeling, and I will always do that. Kimberly Bennett, how did you meet and how did you come out to your families? Well, how we met, that's a well-known story. I just told a little bit about it. We had a chat a few times on the chat site, and we came together for a one-night stand. And we made music, we danced, kissed, fell in love at first sight. That's actually the whole story. There's nothing more. How we came out to our families. When I met Mark, I wasn't out yet. I came out 2 days later, first to my close friends. And then I went to my sister first. And I was afraid to tell my parents for some reason. I still don't know why. I still regret it that I didn't tell my parents straight away. But my sister did it for me. And well, a few days later, my mother called and she asked me for help with the crossword puzzle, not a thing about my coming out. And she said, oh, well, as long as you're happy. So that went okay. With Mark, it was in a conversation between him and his parents. His father was okay with it, but his mother, from the Philippines, a bit more traditional. That took a while before she accepted it. But now they're both happy with it, and they're both happy with me, with us as a couple. So that's a very good thing. Monette Page, only joking. Where did you guys meet? Oh yeah, she asked me, how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck chuck would chuck wood? I'm not going to answer that. It's way too difficult. Where did you guys meet? On the internet. It can happen to you as well. Ting Yu Lin, what's the best thing about being with Mark? Silence. I have no idea. We connect. How else am I going to say it? I don't know. We always have fun together. I can't say that we never argue. We argue sometimes, but we never go to bed angry. I can talk about everything with him. I think that's the thing that that's so attractive, and of course his looks as well. I love Asian guys, and he's just perfect. Jim Shipman, by creating a storyline with having children of your own, did that open the doors to the idea of one day having kids? What does Mark think about raising a family? And that question was asked by several people, by Nicole Griffiths, by Angel McIntyre, and by some person whose name I can't pronounce because it's Chinese. Well, some of you don't know that we don't have children. They're only in the comic. I was thinking of new ideas, and suddenly it popped into my head, what if we suddenly would have kids? Now, it became a very... I love that series that I made, 5 comics. And in the end, it turned out to be a dream, and your comments were so heartbreaking that I decided to let them come back every Saturday. But I think for us children, only in a comic, not for real. We are still big kids ourselves. And besides that, we both have busy jobs. We don't have that much money to spend. And yeah, we have... I can't say we. Mark is the only child. He doesn't have brothers or sisters. I have a few nieces and a nephew, and if we want to do fun things with children, we do it with them. We took them out to museums and things like that. So, with children of our own, not right now, but never say never. Alexa Wysert wants to know, how do you and Mark deal with people that do not accept your relationship? And I honestly couldn't say, because we haven't met those people. We are living in a friendly neighborhood. A lot of foreign people living here, like Muslims and people like that. But we never had any problems with them. So, and if people have a problem with our relationship, well, that's bad for them. But we're not going to change for them. So that's it. Mariana Ilana Febling Angel, what's the most romantic thing that Mark has ever done for you? Okay, let me tell you this. Mark is not romantic, not a single bit. He knows that, he admits it. And when I asked him this afternoon, what's the most romantic thing you ever did, he is to think as well. And then I said, well, you proposed to me. And he said, well, proposed. Well, he asked me to marry him. It wasn't really a question. He said, well, I think thought about it. I want to marry you. So that was his proposal. But for me, it was still very romantic, despite the fact that it was in my bus and that I was very, very sick because of a stomach flu. Until now, it was the most romantic thing. Jessica West made a joke. Coke or Pepsi? Well, I can answer it, Pepsi. If I have to choose, it's going to be Pepsi. Kazakai, she wants to know, where did the idea for the comic start from and what made you actually made it happen? I made comic strips and cartoons as long as I can remember. And we had a small family newsletter. And I made comics, not with me, but just made up characters. And suddenly, well, one day I was drawing just characters, and suddenly I saw something and said, well, that guy that I just wrote looks like me. And with a little change, I thought, well, that's me? Okay, well, let's make myself a comic character. And Bart, the comic character, was born. And then I entered myself into the comics, and then I had a girlfriend, bad time, don't ask. And she came in the comics as well, because, well, when you have a relationship, there is always something going on, and so you have always new ideas. So that's why I involved us in the comic strips. And when she was out of my life, Mark came in and he took her place. So that's how it started. And Sarah Rarner wants to ask Mark, do you ever have any ideas for a comic that Bart has used or loved? Ayove Molloy wants to know, have you ever drawn up a comic that Mark didn't want you to put up? And how true to character would you say the comics are? And Duct Tape Addict Kirby, has there ever been an idea for a comic Mark didn't like, but you did it anyway? Okay, well, I can be very clear about this. The comics are totally my thing. Mark doesn't have anything to do with it. When a comic is finished, I show it to him. And well, most of the time he likes them. Some comics are a bit personal. He gives me a look then, but he will never say to me, oh, you can't put it up. Even there will be a comic pretty soon. It's an X-rated comic. And even then he said, well, just for once. So he's okay with it. But his own ideas, well, never. And how true our characters? Well, in the comic, I'm the I'm the childish guy, if you want to say it like that. Mark is the more sensible guy, and I think in real life it's just like that as well. But not always. But in the comic, I want to be the silly guy, you know. I want to be the guy who makes the mistakes and the bad jokes, and Mark is the one who, the sensible one and the adult one, and it's gonna stay like that in the comics. Yeah, haha. Yay, Katie McMuffin Cakes. Is Mark brave enough to at least wave to the camera for us? And do you guys have any pets? Well, Mark is upstairs. He doesn't want to wave in front of the camera, so I'll do it for him. Hi there. Do we have any pets? No, we don't have any pets. And to be honest, we don't want any pets. Mostly because of our busy jobs. When you have a pet, you have to be there for him. And we're not pet people, so to say. When I was a kid and I was still living at home, we had birds, parakeets or canaries, and I like that. But dog, especially another dog, maybe a cat someday, but I don't think so. We just don't have the time for it. Just in pain. How nervous were you both the night you were supposed to have the one night stand together, and who called back to have another date? We were nervous, not nervous at all. And I have no idea who called who the next day. We had each other's phone number, and we had the internet and the chat site, and it just happened. It just happened. We saw each other again very pretty soon, and then day after day after day. So that's how easy it was. Emma Kant. If you had to spend 24 hours in each other's bodies, what would you do? That's a good question. I think I would try all on my clothes that I can't wear because my belly is too thick. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, I'm going to do that just for one day. And maybe that will inspire me to lose more weight. Who knows? Rick Sennert wants to know, when are you coming to the States or Chicago? And are you willing to try driving here? Oh, he's not the only one who wants to know that. Will you ever visit America? That was asked by David Higgins. Ed Schneider, will you ever visit Canada? Cheryl Severa, will you consider coming to the USA and visit me? I want to visit you all, and I really, really want to go back to the States. I've been there before in 2001. I've been to New York City. And Mark has been in Canada many years ago. And if I go there, sure, I want to drive there. There's nothing more in the world that I would want. But it's very expensive. And like I said, we don't have that much money. But never say never. Mark has family in the US. He has family, an aunt in Miami. And he has one near Washington, D.C., I think. So they already invited us. So who knows? And if we are going to the US, or we're going to Canada, or we're going to the Philippines, or to Australia, you'll be the first. Well, not the first, but you will hear it very soon, and we could meet. How do you know? Louise Cockrill, for both. Do your parents know how you first came to meet and what for? No, and we would like to keep it this way. I'm pretty sure they won't see this video, and if they ever find out, well, what you're gonna do? It's they can know it's well, but my mother is one of those types. She's from a different generation, and she doesn't want to know what her son is doing in his free time. So, what you gonna do? James Mark Thomas Combs. What's the best thing about Mark? The best thing. Have you ever seen his eyes and his smile? I think that's the best thing. Serious. Sarah Warner, when and what the first moment you knew you were in love with each other? First date? Love at first sight. I can make a whole story, but I'm not going to do it. It was the first date, a few hours. We made music and we looked in each other's eyes, and I knew this is the guy, and Mark thought the same thing. Let's see, where are we? Daniel, Takeshi, Ryan. If you went to Hogwarts, where would the Sorting Hat put you and why? We actually did a test. I'm going to Hufflepuff And Mark is going to Ravenclaw. Mark says he is a witch. I don't know. Laura Elizabeth Bendokas. For the both of you, what are some habits that you do and do not like that the other does? And Mark, why does he hate the cold so much? Well, that's an easy question to answer. Mark is from the Philippines, a tropical country. He came to the Netherlands when he was 8. And he's still not used to the cold. There's nothing I can do about it. When the door can't, the window can't be opened where we're sleeping, and it has to be not much further open, because otherwise it's cold. And as soon as the letter R is in the month, he has pajamas on in bed. I made comics about it. So I'm not sure that it's ever going to change. Mark is very comfortable with temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius. So, and that's the absolute limit for me. So when it comes to that, we're both very different. And the habits. Oh, I don't know, to be honest. We don't have... Well, Mark is a farter, but I wouldn't call it a habit. So I think we don't have any habits that we don't like about each other. Well, good for us, I think. Yeah. Jeff Israel, where is the strangest place you guys ever had sex? I don't know if it's a strange place, but we once spent Christmas evening in a very comfortable hotel suite with a rain shower with a huge window. So we had a beautiful view around the whole area. And I wouldn't think it's... Well, maybe it's strange to have sex in front of a big window, but because we were on the top floor, I don't think anyone saw us. I think it wouldn't be... I don't think it's a strange place, but it was a special place. Let's see. Oh, I was talking in Dutch. Did you hear that? Simona Poppa. Hi guys, what was your first drawing you made before starting the Bart and Mark comic? Well, like I said, I've been drawing as long as I can remember. And I made comics, a series of comics for a company newsletter that we had. I started as a taxi driver. So I made up this character called Cabby. Cabby the taxi driver. And I made all sorts of taxi related jokes. And it was fun actually. And later, like I invented myself as a comic character, so I traded Cabby in for Bart the taxi driver, and later he became Bart the bus driver. Cabby was my first regular character. Jason Lee Ryan. A few questions. Did you guys ever invite the pizza boy in for a coffee? Maybe we should. That could be some material for some new comics. Do you have another couple that you might add into your comics, straight or gay or whatever? I might. So far I have enough ideas, but when I run out of ideas, I should make up another couple. So who knows, maybe a couple of lesbian neighbors or whatever. Could be. I'm thinking about it. And cats, the internet is full of them. Please tell us. Oh, you don't like them. We don't like cats. I like Cats the musical. Well, like I said, we don't like pets, but a little kitty walking around here maybe wouldn't be that bad. But there's a cat in our backyard last couple of days, so who knows? Maybe we can adopt him. Lindsay Surisalul Te Belton. Wow, what a difficult name you have got. Who said I love you first, and how did the other react? I looked at Mark this afternoon. I was thinking, who said it first? It should be a moment that you never forget, but obviously I did. And he said with a lot of confidence, oh, I did. I did it in the chat. I said I love you. And apparently I was very happy about it. Of course I was. Trenia Rexinger. Bart, do you know what kind of influence you are having on the entire world? You give people all over the world hope and inspiration. You show everyone how a same-sex relationship is no different behind closed doors than an opposite-sex relationship. Yes, I know. Sometimes I get these messages from people who are saying to me that my comics inspired them so much that they decided to come out. And I think it's unbelievable. I started this comic as a fun thing, just a joke, just for my pleasure. But when those messages came in, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. I had no idea. I never expected it. And it made me so proud, and it makes me feel very, very special. And that's those messages are motivating me to go on. So, and she asked Mark, when you and Bart are recognized in public, how do you react? It happened twice. One time it was with Mark, was here in the Netherlands at a fair, and some girl came up to us. She said, "Are you Bart and Marx from Bart and Marx Comics?" And I was, oh my god, I was totally overwhelmed. I think I was even happier than the fan was. So, and that was special. And Mark is okay with it. Mark thinks it's okay, but he doesn't have. Well, he's not going to tell people everywhere. So I'm the Mark from Mark's Comics. Like I said, it's totally my thing, and well, maybe we will be recognized more in the future. Who knows? And here, are the residents in your facility accepting of your marriage? Yes, as far as I know, they are. We never had any problems. Luckily, Kate Caldroma, you guys have become modern day superheroes. Ta-ta-da. To a lot of us, inspiring us to be proud of who we are. So my question is, what would your superhero names be? We've been thinking about it, and I can think of comics, but I can't think of a funny name. Maybe Rainbow Man, protector of the gay community. How does that sound? And Mark could be Mr. Spice because he's hot and he likes spicy food and he likes it warm. Mr. Hot, Dr. Hot, Mr. Spice, something like that. I don't know. Maybe you can come up with something. Oh, that could be a new character, a superhero in my comic. Ana Menendez, who's your biggest inspiration in life? Mark. And I asked Mark, and he said, you are. So that was an easy question. He's my biggest inspiration. Karen M. Gallants. How do you feel when people recognize you and start talking to you? Well, I just said it. It only happened twice. Once with Mark, and as far as I'm concerned, it's going to happen many more times because I absolutely love it. Jim Petretta, a three-part question. Do you live in a gay neighborhood? Not at all. Is there a gay neighborhood here? No, I live in Amersfoort. Beautiful ancient city in the center of the Netherlands. But we don't have a gay neighborhood. There is one gay bar. That's it. And when you go there, the big cities like Amsterdam, they don't even have gay neighborhoods. They have neighborhoods where there are clubs and things like that. But there's, as far as I know, there's no place in the Netherlands with a big gay community. So, and is all of the Netherlands a little bit gay? I wouldn't say that the Netherlands is gay, unless you want to say gay as a positive thing. Well, the Netherlands is a positive place to be. Especially for gay people. There was a survey not too long ago, and for gay people, Netherlands is the best place to live. So, if you look at it like that, you could say that the Netherlands is very gay, and I love it. Sue Beatson, what's Mark's reaction when he found out you were making comics of the two of you? How did he feel when they first went online? How does he feel about how successful they've become, and that so many people worldwide know who he is? He's not impressed, to be honest. He thinks it as a hobby. He likes it. He likes my comics, and he's very supportive. Yeah, he looks at them, and he's happy for me that it's going so well. But other than that, maybe when a few Andrew Christian models would run up to him and say, "Oh, you are Mark from Bart's Comics," I think then he would be very ecstatic. But is that going to happen? Who knows? You never know. Sean Beck, how does your family feel about the two of you? Are they accepting of your marriage and of you being gay? Yes, absolutely. When I first came out, my mother said to me, well, it's nice that you found someone, but I don't want to meet him yet. And it's not because we are gay. She said it also with my sister and my brother. She doesn't want to meet the partner of her children because it's before it's serious. But not 2 weeks later, I think we went to IKEA for breakfast, and my parents were there as well. So we got to meet, we had breakfast together, and it was perfect right away. It wasn't a bit awkward, so that was perfect. They're happy for us. So that's perfect. Kate, Danielle, McElroy. My question is for Mark. I'm in culinary school, and I want to know, yes, he always wanted to be a chef, and what's his favorite thing about it? Yes, Mark wanted to be a chef when he was a little kid, and he likes the fact that he can create things, that he can turn a lot of ingredients into something that looks nice and that tastes nice. That's what he likes about it. Let's see. Silence, not good. Athena Barber, this for the both of you. If you could meet anyone alive or dead, real or fictional, who would it be and why? Mark couldn't answer that question. He really doesn't know. He doesn't have anyone he really admires. I would love to meet some fellow cartoonists, the big ones, the famous ones. And I would love to meet M. Bushka. I would love to stand in front of his camera with the duct tape of my mouth and with the no hate painted on my cheeks. So maybe that's going to happen to you. Brittany Nunes. I don't have a question, but I want to say thank you. Seeing your comics show up in my newsfeed is great, and it always puts a smile on my face. Thank you, Bart and Mark, for sharing your lives with us in such an awesome way. I do think you should do more Harvey and Ellen comics, though. More Harvey and Ellen comics. Who knows, if I got plenty of ideas. Laura and Joritsma, what's your favorite thing about each other? Well, my favorite thing about Mark are his eyes and his smile. And Mark said it about me also. Mark says I've got beautiful eyes. I don't know, they are blue. Can you see it? Do you think they're beautiful? The glasses make them even look bigger. He says I have pretty eyes, so who knows. And he thinks I'm sweet, and he thinks I'm romantic. And I am. Okay, Nicole Air Swan. Firstly, I want to say thank you. You have touched the lives of so many in the LGBTQA community. And you have opened the eyes and softened the hearts of many who oppose. That's an amazing accomplishment, and you and Mark should be very, very proud of yourselves for making the impact that you have. Thank you. My question is this. Did you have any idea when you began drawing these comics that you would have such a large impact? How does it feel to know that so many people have been uplifted by your work? I said it before, it's amazing. Every time again. Every time I get a message from one of you, how much you like my comics, how my comics is a part of your morning routine, how my comics are giving you hope that things will get better in the future. It's amazing. It's making me fly, really. I'm so ecstatic when I get those messages, so keep them coming. Absolutely, keep them coming. Geolofts, have you ever thought of doing a small animation film, 5 minutes or something, of one of your comics? If you get the chance or the time. I would love to do it, but I am actually amazed that I figured out how the recording thingy on Mark's MacBook is working. I don't know anything about computers or animation or things like that. If anyone wants to help me with that, it would be great. I would love to make a small cartoon, so maybe in the future, who knows. Maria Ines Nunes Teixeira. Oh, come on with the difficult names, but beautiful. Have you ever thought about finding fans of your comics from around the world and getting together with them on their country and get a tour of the areas where they live and nearby? Actually, I've met quite a few of my fans. I travel a lot for work in Europe. I went to London, I went to Hamburg, I went to Belgium, Paris. In all of those places I have met fans, and it's amazing. You are all very sweet and you are all so nice. And if you're living in Europe, especially when you're living in Europe, keep an eye on my page, because if I'm going somewhere, I know for a fact that I'm going, I think next week, 5 days to France. I have no idea where, but I'm going to write it right down on my page. I'm going there and there. If you want to meet, give me a message. So I love to meet my fans. And I'm always willing to give them a little drawing or maybe an autograph or something. Let's see. Nisa VC, what's your favorite comic and the history and why you draw it? I love you guys. I love you too. My favorite comic, that's so difficult. I've made hundreds, literally hundreds of comics. And I think the most popular ones are my favorite ones, especially the ones with a message, like the one about gay marriage, that I don't like the word gay marriage, about the situation in Russia. The comics like that, and they are being shared thousands of times, and they have thousands of likes, and those are the comics that become my favorite, and I'm very proud of it. And I personally love the Harvey and Ellen comics. So, Janet K. Lee, what do you think is the best way to fight homophobia? And that's a very difficult question. I think the best way to fight homophobia, what I'm doing is showing that our lives is just as normal as any other couple's life. And I think that's a problem with homophobia. People are ignorant, they have the wrong ideas, and when they see that we are not much different than them, I think that would help. So I'm playing my part. So but otherwise I really couldn't know. I really couldn't tell. Let's see, Robert Flores Jr. Why won't Mark get in front of the camera? You guys married for a reason to do things together. What a shame Mark will not answer his own questions for such a wonderful husband. Can Mark get over shyness just this one time for you and your fans? Or just be the background husband? Well, he's the background husband, but not on the background upstairs. I'm sorry, I tried to convince him, but it's not going to do it. Bart Greenberg. Hey Bart, if your cartoons were turned into a movie, who would you want to play the two of you? Brad Pitt? Matt Damon? Well, for me then. And are there any hot Asian actors? Oh, I think there are. The one guy from the X-Men. Oh, I could see him play Mark. Yeah, I don't know his name, but let me call Hollywood and we'll make it happen. Let's see, Kyle White, in your opinion, what is the best piece of advice which you can give to those of us living in oppressive societies in respect of homosexuality? Love from Russia. Oh, those are very difficult questions, and if I have to come up with something right now, I would say just hang in there, never, never, never give up, and try to organize and fight for your rights. I think you've seen it in several American states where marriage equality happens right now. That was unthinkable for years ago, so things can change, but it doesn't happen overnight. You have to fight for it, and I would say keep fighting and hang in there. Absolutely. D Quack Quack. Seriously, where did you get the idea of your comics? Everyday life. Everyday life. Most comics, when it really happens, are true stories, and if it really happens, a certain comic, I write it down, true story. Sometimes I exaggerate it a little bit, but the comics are all based on our own characters. I like to watch movies. I like what can I say? I like boys. Mark loves video games. That's inspiration and love for enough comics. So they are all based on our own characters. And sometimes I just think of silly things that could happen. Ideas enough. Courtney Kleiner, Mark, what are your biggest goals in life? Have you accomplished any of them? Mark thought it was a very difficult question, and like I said, Mark wanted to be a cook, and he accomplished that. So, well, maybe one of his goals was to find a very sweet partner, and he did it as well. And she asks to me, how much of the world have you seen? Are there any places you would love to or hate to go back to? I've been in Poland, I've been in Germany, I've been in England, I've been in France, I've been in Belgium, I've been to New York City, and I absolutely want to go back to, well, New York City, but the US. I want to go back to the US. I love it for some reason. I also loved New York when I was there 2 months before the attacks. Pretty special. And I felt right at home there. I don't know what it was, but so yeah, the US, absolutely. Rose Ahauf, when do you plan on, if you are having children, would you adopt or have a surrogate? Also, would you each fertilize an egg and have twins that are half Bart and half the other Mark, or fertilize one egg and, I would think so about fertilizing. No, I don't think so. I think for the moment, Harvey and Ellen are made up kids, will be the only kids we have. But like I said before, never say never. And the last question already. I've been on it, well, for almost 40 minutes now. Joshua Maldonado, what is the funniest thing to ever happen between you and Mark? Just look at the comics. When a really funny thing happens, I make a comic about it. And so nothing stays secret from you guys. I want to share our whole lives with you. And when something funny happens in our relationship, or something sad, or something whatever, or something special, you will know about it. And that was the last question already. I hope I answered them all. If you missed your own question, or you want to ask me something else, or you want you to be specific about something, just write it down in the comments and I'll answer you. And I will answer always. I will answer all your comments. I will answer all your